obviously, we have not seen him live. I've seen him on videotape now, and this is probably the best of the bunch. And to answer your question, I have seen great. When we faced Alabama a couple of times, I think it was Mark Ingram was a Heisman Trophy winner. He controlled that game, so that's a dilemma. We had Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde controlled many games for us in the last 2 years. That's the one. That obviously that and the quarterback. Those two positions are the positions that can control the game.
Stay right down here.
Urban, the senior class here, their accomplishments pretty well noted, but as several guys have said over the last several weeks that they haven't won a championship.
Yeah.
How much of a defining moment is it for these guys tomorrow night, and is that a point that you'll have to drive home with them or no?
Oh, the most important thing on Friday now is rest and hydration and nutrition and get a good night's sleep. So we won't hammer them tonight. I want them to relax and go to bed. Tomorrow we'll hit that, and that's it. The minute you make a decision, the way I was raised and from my first time I walked into Ohio State when I was 21 years old, that when you decide to play athletics, and football in particular, you're measured by championships, and I agree with that. It's not how many yards you rush for, how many interceptions you have, how many championships are you a part of, and that's why I frequently discuss Michael Jordan in our team, because of the way he practices and the way he's a champion. And we talk about champions quite often because, as Bill Parcells said in the champion video we've watched several times, it changes who you are. And forever it ties a team together for the rest of their lives, a championship.
Here on the aisle.
Hi, Coach. I wonder if you could discuss a little bit of the importance. You got JT and Braxton are both here on the trip. How are they going to be able to help Cardale get prepared for the big game?
Very different personalities, very important for our progress, and very important for Cardale to have them there. Very close unit room. Tom Herman obviously leads that unit. Very close group. I was watching them today. They all have great respect for each other. Braxton's a different personality than JT, but they're all different than Cardale. So very close group, and there's no question they were going to be here.
Back down here in front.
Yeah, Urban, can I ask one quick question, digress a second, about JT? Obviously, you've made a case for him to go to New York next week to be in that Heisman final look, whatever. What is the one play, the one game, the one thing that you thought set him apart and made him special in that regard this year?
Well, I get asked questions, Tim, and when I say, well, I made a case, no, JT made a case. Statistically, he is a Heisman candidate, and you just look at the history of the game, and Jerry, our SID, has provided me with that information because I asked for it. When I get asked questions, I don't want to just babble. I want to give statistical facts. I don't have them with me right now, but statistically, he's right there, and he should be. The one moment, the one that I'll never forget, and it wasn't maybe the most glamorous one, was the first overtime at Penn State, when he took the team on his shoulders, and we didn't play particularly well in that game, but he took the game over in overtime and won it. Obviously, the statistical moment was the Michigan State complete game he played, and then maybe the third down, if you say what's a moment or two, the third down and 23 when he dropped the dime right on Devin Smith, then that was very accurate passer, and statistically, he is a Heisman candidate.
Out here to the right.
When it comes to Wisconsin, a lot of the talk centers around Melvin Gordon, but what do you see out of their defense that really helps them?
Well, Gary's a defensive-minded coach, and him and his staff have done a phenomenal job. When we played them last year, we scored early on some passing plays, and then it was very hard to run the ball against them. They had an incredible, but then I started looking at their front as all seniors, and anytime you can say goodbye to a bunch of great players you might have to play, goodbye. And then here we go. The front seven's basically changed, and they're statistically better than they were last year. That's a credit, first of all, to development, which Wisconsin's always done a phenomenal job with developing players, but their coaching staff and obviously their players. So very rugged defense, very multiple. They blitz a lot. You can tell they're very intelligent and well coached because they do a lot of stuff, and if you do a lot of stuff and not make mistakes, you're intelligent and well coached.
Very back here on the left.
Coach, there's a lot of games that are going to influence the Final Four in the college football playoff. Do you make any attempt to try to shield your guys from paying attention to the other games and just totally focus on your game? Is that an issue at all that you have to address with the players?
You know, I have not even thought about that yet. I will. This is usually the night that I go back and I'll sit with our strength coach and we sit and measure our team, how we are tonight. You know, I kind of watch our players tonight because we don't ask a lot of them other than, you know, it's a fellowship we call Best Fridays in football. There's a movie, there's college football, there's, you know, just time to play cards and relax. And I'll watch that. But if we need to be, I don't see us. You know, they're all smart guys. They understand what's at stake. And, you know, during the season, I always encourage them to watch football. But that's a great question that we'll have a conversation with my strength coach tonight.
Here on the aisle.
Hi, Urban. So much of your off season, a lot of the kids have talked about looking back to what happened in this building a year ago as the motivation, the fuel to drive them through the season. I'm just curious what you think struck them today as they walk back in this building, knowing that the moment has arrived for them, and yourself, your memories of a year ago and how it's driven you and your staff to arrive back here.
Yeah, that was a tough day, walking off that field. Obviously played a very good team, came up short in a great game. We're down 17 points, come back and take a lead, and back and forth, came down to a few critical plays. I haven't spent a whole lot of time, but for me to say that I didn't think about that moment when I walked in that place, it did, and then I moved on quickly, and I hope they did too. We haven't had a lot of chat time tonight. I'll visit with them when I get back. They're at the hotel now. But I'm sure that's everybody that was in that arena and certainly played. Maybe the guys that didn't play, it doesn't impact you quite the same. But the older players that played, that's one that you'll never forget. And it's an opportunity to move forward and get us a championship.
Way over here on the left.
Urban, you have a lot of guys who were here last year. Do you notice a difference in some of those veteran leaders, maybe that they're more calm and used to this setting now that they've been here before?
Probably I didn't really notice. You know, I thought last year we had some very good veterans, and this is a smart group of kids, a very invested group of players. I didn't see you know, it does take your breath away when you turn the corner and walk in that beautiful facility. It takes your breath away, and then we get to work. So I didn't. To answer your question, I didn't notice that.
Back here on the right.
Hey, Urban, over here. Are JT and Braxton, are they able to play a role Saturday night in helping Cardale, like during the game?
Oh, sure. You know, obviously you got to. They're both injured, so you got to keep them away from the fray. But I'm not sure exactly how Tom's going to do that. I think we did have a quick conversation. I'm not sure what we decided on JT, if he's going to be down or up. Obviously, you got to stay out of the way, stay out of harm's way. And Braxton's doing very well, so they will have a role, but it's not going to be anything more than supporting their quarterback and their teammate.